Hello, welcome to week 2. Okay, this presentation is if you were absent on our synchronous day. So if you were absent, just watch this video and you will get totally caught up. So let's present here. So this is our virtual classroom. This question, this or that question, this is if you're in the live Zoom meeting, so we'll just pass by this. But I want to start by saying you did it. You made it through our first week of distance learning for the 2020-2021 school year. And I just want to say that I am so proud of you. I know that this has been a really crazy start. There's been so many technology issues and things like that, but we are just so proud of how hard you're working and the communication and just showing up and trying, because sometimes that's hard to do. So you did it. That's awesome. We are all here. Let's keep going. So just a reminder, if you have any tech issues, please go to our modules. I've moved them into the modules so that you can see them, since you're going to be clicking on that button every week. So if you have a tech issue, please fill out this Google form. Those of you that filled it out last week, you should have gotten an email from me responding to your requests. So that's there if you need to send in another one or if you have a new issue. And then the Q&A page, I also moved to the modules so that you can see that and access it a lot easier than before. So the Q&A, just a reminder, is that if you have a question and I am not getting back to you as quickly as you need, I would check this page, because there's a great likelihood that your question will be on there. So that is in our modules at the very top. Okay, let's go over our class expectations. So we are going to be respectful and we're going to lean into empathy. We are going to strive for a growth mindset, and we're really going to focus on that this week. That's our goal for this week. We are going to take care of ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally so that we can show up and be our best selves. And then we are not going to be afraid to reach out for help, whether that be something that has to do with technology, or maybe you just need to check in and communicate what's going on in your life. We are going to stay connected. So there's a link here if you want to watch that video again about going over those in more depth. But this week, this is what we have going on. For synchronous days, whatever day that is for you, we are going to be doing a growth mindset Google Slides presentation, which is what you're about to see in this video, as well as some written reflections that you're going to participate in during this presentation. And then our asynchronous day, we are going to have another written reflection that's going to be connected to what we learned today. And then if you see on the right-hand side, we have a poem that I inserted. Morgan Harper Nichols is a rising star in poetry. So I'm just going to read this really quick because I thought it was really helpful with everything that's going on. So this is called For the Nervous. You might feel nervous about what is to come, but what if this nervousness could become curiosity? What if today was the day you accepted? I do not know what lies ahead, but I know that I am going to learn what I am meant to learn. So many things are unknown, but as I experience change, I will also experience growth. So you might think that's just kind of a rando poem that I just plucked in there. It actually really connects to what we're going to talk about today. So let's dive in. So, what does a growth mindset have to do with English 10? Some of you may be familiar with this term, others may not. So, why are we talking about this? What does this have to do with reading and writing in English? Well, this year, I've said it multiple times, this year has been very crazy and strange and challenging. And I was reflecting on how I wanted to start the school year in our class. And I believe that the best way for us to start is to start with learning about what a growth mindset is, because it's one of the most powerful tools that you can use in any situation, outside of school, inside school. It doesn't matter what subject. If we're focusing on using it in school, it's something that you can have in your tool belt, and it will help you when life gets crazy and when life gets tough. So that is why we're going to be looking at this. So our learning objectives, we're going to explain the difference between growth and fixed mindsets, distinguish between examples of both growth and fixed mindsets, and then we're going to understand that everyone is born to learn and we are all at a different place in our learning. So, essential questions connected to those. How do we learn things? Why is having a growth mindset valuable to learning? How does understanding fixed and growth mindsets help us meet our goals? So those are our essential questions. Okay, I'm going to give you some instructions, and then once I do, you're going to pause this video and go to your version, your copy of the Google Slides, and start writing. So for a pre-reflection time, thinking and writing, I want you to think of a time when you learned something new. It doesn't have to be necessarily in school. Maybe it's a sport or a skill that you learned. Think of a time when you learned something new and think about what steps did it take for you to learn it? What was the process like for you for learning that specific thing? And then you're going to write your thoughts. And then after that, think about a time when you failed at something. How did it make you feel? What happened after you failed? So what I want you to do, if you're watching this video, if you were absent on the day we did this live, I want you to pause the video, go to your copy of the note or a copy of the Google Slides. You should have your own copy in the assignments, and you're going to spend some time writing your responses to these two questions. So you can go ahead and do that now, and when you're done writing, make sure it's saved and then come back to this video because we have a couple more things to go over. So go ahead and do that now. Okay. You should have gone and written in your own copy and come back to this video. So we are going to resume. So you again are going to pause this video and go to the actual Google Slides, your copy of it, and you're going to watch this video. It's about, I would say 90 seconds, I think. Maybe it's even under a minute. It's a very short video, and we're going to watch it and then come back. So go ahead and pause this video and go to the link to watch this video. All right, awesome. So after watching that video from Khan Academy, we are going to brainstorm examples of famous people who had to learn a very basic skill before they became successful. So the video named a couple examples already, and I have a few up here for you just to kind of remind you of what we're trying to aim for. Serena Williams, she is a famous and successful pro tennis player. So before she became a famous and successful tennis player, she had to learn how to hit a tennis ball, just the basic skill. Mark Zuckerberg, he's the man who created Facebook. Before he created this social media platform, he had to learn how to type on a keyboard. And then we have Michael Jordan, MJ. He had to learn how to dribble a basketball before he could learn how to dunk and win championships. So those are some examples. I want you to spend the next few minutes thinking of at least 3 people. You're going to type their name over here in this left box, and then you're going to type a skill, just one skill that they had to learn that's connected to whatever it is that they became successful or good at. So Michael Jordan's a basketball player. You would write his name here. What did he do before he became the best basketball player of all time? He had to learn how to dribble a basketball. So you're going to come up with 3 other examples of famous people that you know of. It could be an athlete. It could be a musician. Maybe it's a historic figure. Anybody that you can think of. Come up with at least 3, maybe 2, and write their names over here and the skill that they had to first learn. So you're going to pause this video, go to your copy of the Google Slides, and you're going to do that. And when you're done, you're going to come back to this video. So go ahead and do that now. Perfect. Thank you. We're going to keep going. Okay, now that we've thought about other people, think about you. Think about something that you have learned to do. Something that you are good at, something that you really enjoy. It's something that you spend a lot of time doing. You're going to do what we just did, but for yourself. So I have some examples. I learned this. I learned how to play the game Heads Up. But before I learned how to play the game in its entirety, I had to learn, before I could play the game, I had to learn the rules of Heads Up. Another example, I learned how to act in a play. But before I learned how to act in a play, I had to learn how to memorize my character's lines. So you're going to think about a couple examples of things that you know how to do, something that you're really good at, or something you're really good at. It could be a sport, it could be an instrument you play, maybe you're really good at cooking. Think about something that you can do. Type over here on the left-hand side what that is, and then over on the right, the basic skill that you had to learn first, or one of the basic skills that you had to learn before you became really good at whatever it is. So go ahead and pause this video, go to your copy of the slides, and type those in, and then when you're done, come back to this video. Awesome, thank you. All right, we're gonna pause. We have some essential questions to review. Our first one, how do we learn new things? So let's think about the video that we watched from Khan Academy. Think about all these examples we brainstormed about famous people and ourselves, the skills that we had to learn, most basic skills we had to learn before we could become successful or proficient in something. So reflect on what we have covered so far and think, how do we learn new things? And you're going to spend 2 minutes writing your response in your own copy of the slides. So go ahead and pause this video and go back to those slides and write your response, and then come back. Awesome. Okay, we're going to dive in a little deeper now. We've kind of just done some reflecting and brainstorming. So a growth mindset, what is it actually? What is this term that I keep repeating over and over again? Again, I have another video for you, so you are going to pause this video and you're going to go to your version of the slides and watch this. It's just like 2 minutes long, I think, and it's going to give you some good visuals and explanations of what a growth mindset is. So go ahead and pause this video and click on the link for this Developing a Growth Mindset YouTube video and come back to our video when you're done. Okay, one more video for you. This is another video from Khan Academy. It is covering a little bit more about the science behind your brain and the growth mindset and what it looks like when you are learning and using a growth mindset. What kind of connections are being made in your brain on that kind of more science level. So you're going to watch this video and then come back to our video again. Okay, so after watching those videos, let's review. A growth mindset assumes that intelligence and other qualities and abilities and talents can be developed with effort, learning, and dedication over time. A fixed mindset assumes intelligence and other qualities, abilities, and talents are fixed traits that cannot be significantly developed. So if we were to compare and contrast, a growth mindset means, in other words, you believe that you have the ability to learn. You can change your knowledge about a subject. You can become more proficient in a skill. And the way that that happens is through effort and through trying and practicing over time. A fixed mindset is just the opposite. You think that if you have a fixed mindset, you believe that everybody is just kind of born with the talent or skills that they have, the intelligence that they have, and that it's really not something that you can change. So those are the two definitions compared. Okay, I'm not going to play this video within a video, Inception. I'll just explain it really quick. So you can watch this video, but basically I describe my own experience as a student with a fixed mindset. And that is when I was a freshman in high school, I really, really struggled with math. I had a hard time with it. I just couldn't understand things as quickly as my peers, and I had to go in after school and get help. And so this video is me describing that experience that I had and how I had to shift my mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset in order to succeed, which I was able to do. So you can watch that and then come back to this video. Okay, another time to review our EQ, essential question. How does understanding the fixed and growth mindsets help us meet our goals? So now that you have been introduced to these terms, you've seen them defined, you've heard examples, you've seen visuals described, how are these two mindsets, an understanding of them, how does that help us meet our goals? Now that you know what they are, how does it help us meet our goals? So go ahead and spend some time writing your response and then come back to this video and we will wrap up. Okay, lastly, I believe this is the last, we have a self-assessment. So this self-assessment is going to help you figure out if you lean towards one mindset over the other, or maybe you kind of have a mixture of both. So you're going to go through and look at these questions, for example, the first one, or statements. If I had to work hard at something, it means that I'm not smart. So you're going to read a statement and you're going to answer, is it true or false? You can do that by circling with a you can draw a shape, or you can just delete one of the letters so that the letter that is true for you is still there. So you're going to take time to go through this self-assessment, look at these statements, and figure out which ones are true for you and which ones are false. And once you do that, you're going to come to this next slide, and you're going to look at how many of the odd numbered statements do you think are true about yourself, and how many of the even numbered statements were true for you. You'll notice that the odd numbers are fixed mindset and even numbers represent growth. So after you figure out if one weighs more than the other, do you tend to have a growth mindset more often than not, or do you tend to lean toward a fixed mindset? Or maybe it's kind of both. It's an even number for both of you, or both of the categories. So go ahead and do that. And then when you come back, that's it. You're going to submit your copy of the slides to me. If there's any technical issues with doing that, just let me know and we can work it out. We'll get out of this presentation so you can see my face one more time. So that is it. That's all we have for our synchronous lesson. And now I want to show you what we have for our asynchronous. Okay, so we're going to go over here. So this is what you should see. So we're going to go to our modules. You can see the Q&A and the tech issue up here. We're going to, just so you know, I am going to have the weeks ordered kind of backwards. So the most recent week is going to be at the top of the page as opposed to having to scroll all the way to the bottom. So this is week 2. Our agenda is here, the EQ and objectives. The growth mindset slides are right here. That's what we just went through. So for your asynchronous day, the day that you were out of class, you're going to come here and click on this personal reflection. So these are our instructions. So I'm going to read through this and kind of explain it. We are going to reflect on everything that we just learned. So if you need to look back at the slides, do so. It's not a test. You can look at them. And we are going to write 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph is going to be, let's see if I can move myself. There we go. The first paragraph is going to be about a personal experience that you had struggling with a fixed mindset. So that could be, you could pull something out of the written responses that you did in the Google Slides if you want to, or you could pick a new story. But you're going to think about a time in your life when you failed at something, or maybe you were really struggling to learn something new, like I did with math in freshman year. Or maybe it was a time when you just didn't have very much confidence in your ability to succeed and to learn. So I want you to pick an experience or a story in your mind, and then think about, what was that experience like for you? What qualities of a fixed mindset did you have at that time? And you're going to write about it. So just a paragraph. And then the second paragraph is going to be based off the first. You are going to pick just one of the essential questions below, and you're going to connect it to that personal story. So, for example, I could talk about my experience having a fixed mindset as a freshman with my math class, and how it was really hard for me and I just couldn't understand things. I could pick number 2, why is having a growth mindset valuable to learning? And I could expand upon my story and say, a growth mindset is valuable to learning because if I hadn't made the switch from a fixed to a growth mindset when I was a freshman, I might have failed my math class. I might not have continued on. I might not have whatever. So you're going to talk about how that essential question, you're going to pick one, how it could connect to the story that you tell. So you can pick which one. It just has to be one of these 3. And then you are going to type your response down here. So, and you're going to submit it, and then I will grade it. So that is what we have going on this week. So for our synchronous day, if you were absent, that's the slides that we just went through, and your written responses that you will submit. And then our asynchronous is doing this written reflection. If you have any questions, just let me know. But other than that, I hope you have a great week.